Hi, 10th graders, soon to be juniors, as it turns out. It's that time of year again where we start to talk about registration for next year, as we're just past the midway point of your sophomore year here. So that's what we're here to do today, is to talk about registering for classes for next year. I'm gonna have Mr. Ensrud share his screen here, and we're gonna follow along to help you guys get to the registration guide on our school website. So you will go to northfieldschools.org. That's our school website right there. Under the schools tab, you'll find halfway down Northfield High School. Go ahead and click on that. And then under Northfield High School, there's the student support tab right up there that Mr. Enzer is highlighting. You're going to click on the student support tab. Scroll about halfway down. You'll see our information there. You'll see that plenty. And you'll click on course registration and planning guide for 23 and 24. And you'll click this big green button to access the registration guide. So that big green button is going to pop open another window. This is our registration guide for this upcoming school year, 2023 and 24. I'm going to walk you through initially here this nicely laid out table of contents. This first bit we'll talk, Ms. Rasmussen and I will go through. And then as you scroll down, you see your graduation required courses, your arts, your English, math, Phy-Ed, your science and your social studies, world languages, and then all of your areas of elective it's laid out by subject, and then it's laid out by specific course as you go through the table of contents. We scroll through it here. The next page is a look at our school profile. The school profile talks about our town, our community, the number of students we have within our building, our faculty, the curriculum that we offer, and some of the advanced classes that we offer. So those are looking at our honors and our AP classes. The coolest thing that I think this guide does is it walks through the post-secondary plans of our previously graduated year. So it breaks down what they decided to do after high school, be it a 4-year college, a 2-year college, the military, work, or another route. Now, what this school profile does, or the purpose that it serves, is it gets sent to the college, it gets put with the college applications that you send to colleges you're applying to give them more information about our school. One thing I want to highlight for you guys here before you register in this registration guide is the course add drop policy. Please make sure you're reading that and are aware of it, aware of the situations that we do allow you to make changes, the timeline for making changes, and be really intentional about what you're registering for, and know that we can't make changes on a whim necessarily. So please be intentional about what you're registering for. Last thing I want to note here on my end before I turn it over to Ms. Rasmussen is the graduation requirements. This is a big important section on page 5. Something we go through at the beginning of every year, but we like to reinforce here around registration time. You need at least 23 credits to graduate from Northfield High School. Those 23 are broken down into 2 sections, 16 core required credits in those various subjects below, and 7 elective credits that you get to choose. But you have to hit that 23 as the magic number. With that, I will turn it over to Ms. Rasmussen, who's going to talk to you a little bit about life after high school.
Thank you, Mr. Turnquist. Hello, future juniors. Yes, 23 credits for high school graduation. That's right. But I would love for you all to also be thinking about life after high school. So although you're planning on what you need to meet high school credits, those might be different than what you're looking for after high school. There's a number of different pathways, and this page in the registration guide lays out some of that information for you. We have like technical schools and 4-year colleges. They will have different requirements in addition to what you need for the high school diploma. So it's important to be thinking about that as you register. Thinking about the next 2 years, planning out your 11th grade and 12th grade is a great idea for you right now. For example, world language. We don't see that in what Mr. Turnquist showed you in the 23 credits, but world language does pop up on this Life Beyond High School page. So things like that to consider. And if you scroll to the next page, there are lots of resources for you as you consider this and explore and research. Naviance, that's a great tool. There are career searches in there to see what interests you might like, and there are 4-year and 2-year college searches to see what you might need to get into that college. And of course, the counseling department. So tomorrow and Thursday, your counselor is going to be available during CCR. So as you work through this, you can pop out of your CCR and speak with your counselor, ask some general questions, make an appointment with your counselor that's assigned to you that you know, and talk through some of this. So these are your resources. You'll want to think about the NCAA clearinghouse for students that are looking at possible D1 or D2 athletics. There are other requirements you might want to consider adding to your schedule. Moving down these pages in this registration guide lists all the academic supports that are available to you. So D110 is an incredible student success center, as well as all these other supports that are here to help you as you choose your classes and maybe decide to challenge yourself in a certain subject area or something like that. These are here for you. Scrolling down, dual credit opportunities. As an 11th grader and 12th grader, you have more options available to you now. And there's a number of different ways where you can earn credit in high school and college simultaneously. So we have AP courses in different subject areas that you could consider. Speak with your teacher, your counselor for more information, or read about the course descriptions. There are concurrent courses, meaning you're taking a course here at the high school with a high school teacher, but also earning credit at a 2 or 4-year college at the same time. They're listed there for you, and there's an option for you for next year. Senior honors program could be a part of your long-term plan as a senior. And then post-secondary enrollment options. This is PSEO, and you may have heard about this. There's a lot of information that pertains to PSEO. So we will have an information session on Friday in the auditorium outlining all the details about PSEO. It's during Flex, second half of Flex in the auditorium. We will talk specifically about PSEO, which means the option to take a class at a college or university. So be sure to come to that if you're interested, but do sign up for a full load of high school courses, even if you're considering that option. Okay, so now we're to the required courses in this guide. I'm going to pass it on to Mr. Ensrud to keep going.
All right. Hey, everybody. Just a quick reminder, as Mr. Turnquist mentioned in his portion of this conversation, there was a table of contents, and the rest of this guide, there are a lot of pages still to come, and each page contains individual course descriptions for everything we offer at Northfield High School. So if there's anything you're wondering more about and you're not sure who to ask or where to turn, use this resource. Our staff has done a phenomenal job of updating their course offerings and descriptions along the way. It is the best place to learn what a course really will include. Along the way in the guide, you might also find some resources like, what are the classes that count towards the arts requirement? Because I kind of did a half credit, I think, maybe of art foundations. Do I need another one? What else will count towards it? Page 14 has that. So as you continue to work your way through it, you'll see more and more specific information across the guide. So please feel free to use that. If I go back to the webpage where I access the guide, there's a link just a little ways down that says registration, student instructions, and FAQs. This packet is also available in Schoology through your CCR teacher. We want to make sure there's a couple ways that you can find it. When I open that packet, there's a cover page initially that takes you through some planning and pre-planning materials. We know the last few years have made it hard to make plans ahead of time. we're trying to return to that skill set a little bit with you guys in terms of making plans for next year, maybe for the year after, certainly maybe beyond that, as well as Ms. Rasmussen was referring to some of those post-secondary pathways. So there's some resources that are in this packet. And oftentimes the people that you trust and would turn to are great resources as well, whether it's your current teachers, parents or guardians, or again, your counselor that you might want to meet with. Same info Mr. Turnquist went over in the registration guide. Both the policy and the why behind the policy, as far as why it's really hard to make changes once we've made these requests, and why we need you to really pay close attention now and in the next few days to make really informed choices. Ms. LaGrosse is going to talk about the information that is actually entering your course requests. In case you miss something there, the step-by-step instructions are on this page. And then this is a tool you guys have seen and hopefully used before. And I've been meeting with some of you who are currently using them as you plan towards next year and beyond. You know, you can relive your glory days of ninth grade and review what you took then. You can make sure what you're taking this year is reflected in the grade 10 portion. And then page 2 helps you see not only some of the stuff we've filled in that you have to take to meet grad requirements, but you start seeing more and more spaces as you move through the next 2 years that you get to own and control as long as you're on track towards that magic number of 23. It also shows a great planning tool to enter course numbers that make it easy to go right into Skyward, and a placeholder for alternates, your backup plan, the what happens if I don't get in the class I want, what happens if it doesn't run, what happens if there's a conflict. Your counselors want those alternates and need those alternates from you in order to give you a course option that is closer to something you were looking for than a random draw or a random guess on our part. All right, the rest of this packet really gets into the listing of every class we offer at Northfield High School. And you've heard it before, for a school our size, the scope and breadth of offerings is pretty amazing. So it takes some time to work through your choices, whether it's, I still need a half credit of Phi Ed and I want to look at what's available in the Phi Ed area, or you know what? I'm starting to develop an interest in something like sports psychology or sports medicine, and I want to take an elective that meets that high interest area that I have. So course numbers will come in handy, seeing if it's a semester length or a full year. And then now that you're going to be juniors, you can start seeing, holy cow, you have access to a lot and most things that we offer at Northfield High School as you work your way through your options. Music options, if you're on that path and want to continue it, all of the visual art offerings that we have, including one new one, business offerings, continue to grow as you get older, adding some another next level accounting choices. Core areas like English, you make informed decisions around English 11 versus Advanced English 11 and the prerequisites that come with it. World language, again, depends on where are you at in your journey of learning a language now? Where do you want and or need to get to, depending on what your future holds, and what options you might want to consider and leave open. Family consumer sciences, array of options, including one that we see a lot of juniors and seniors take in personal finance. Some design engineering options. Again, if you haven't taken the intro to design engineering, that'll open the door to a lot of these other options that have an asterisk by them. Math continues to be the, what am I in now? Talking to your current math teacher about what makes the most sense for me next year based on what I'm in now, because you'll still need at least one more year of math, if not two. Science options for juniors primarily land in the bucket of chemistry, and there's 3 ways to get at that chemistry requirement that you might want to consider or compare and contrast. And then in social studies, for most of our juniors, the requirement is the choice between World and AP World, but you can also start to see some other electives that could come into play for you as you enter your junior year. So use that course listing. And then if you're still having some questions, like Ms. Rasmussen talked about, we'll be out available during CCR. We're available for scheduling appointments, but sometimes, especially as students get older, they want to find their own answers. And this FAQ sheet at the end of the packet is a great way to take ownership of that. Some of your answers might be found in these frequently asked questions. So take a look at those. And if you get to the end of it and it's like, I still got a question I need help with, remember who your counselor is and one way to reach out to them using school email or Schoology or stopping in and making an appointment in our office. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. LaGrosse so she can talk about how to enter those course requests in Skyward.
Hello, everyone. So I'm going to, I can't share my screen. I don't have access. Here we go. Okay, so before we go to Skyward to start entering in our course requests, I want to draw your attention to a few things on this guide. So first of all, the deadline to register for courses for next year will be 3 p.m. on Friday, February 10. So make sure all of your course requests are in by the end of the school day on Friday. So Mr. Insrud talked a little bit about the course planning guide earlier. Make sure you're checking and rechecking that course planning guide to see which courses are required for your 11th grade year. And as you're entering in your courses, your course requests into Skyward, I would advise you to enter the required courses first, and then the electives to make sure you get all those requirements in. So as we can see, looking here, 11th graders are required to take a year of English 11, a year of world history, chemistry, and as Mr. Insrud mentioned earlier, your 11th grade math class will depend on what you're taking this year and conversations with your teacher. So make sure you're talking to your math teachers. If you have questions about what a specific course involves, remember to check the course registration guide. All the course descriptions for every single class offered here and there. And use our course list to get the course numbers as you're entering in your request. Okay, now that we have that out the way, let's go to Skyward and enter some course requests. So you're going to log into your Skyward account. When you get to Skyward, click on Schedule. Then at the top, you'll see a link that says Request Courses for 2023-2024. Click on that. And then, as I mentioned, we want to request our required courses first. So we know all 11th graders need to take math. Let's say I'm taking Algebra 3 next year. I'm going to find the course code, 7508. Enter the course code in the search box. You can enter the first two numbers or the entire 4, and then hit search. Okay, Algebra 3 has came up. Once I click on Algebra 3 over here, I'm going to click on Add Course, and that brings it over to this box, Selected Courses. So this list is the list of classes that I have added. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, so we know 11th graders will also be taking World History. The course code is on this grid, 8542. Type it into the box, hit search, click on World History, add course. Now what happens if I accidentally add the wrong class, or I change my mind about a class and want to go in and change it before 3 p.m. on Friday? I'm going to come over to this box, I'm going to click on the course I want to remove, and then hit Remove Course. And that removes it out of your Selected Courses box. Okay, so as you're adding classes, make sure you're checking this, your total credits. So this number here should be either 6, 6.5, or 7. Remember, you must register for at least 6 classes, 6 credits. Register for 6 credits if you want a study hall each semester, 6.5 if you want to study hall one semester, and not the other, 7 if you don't want to study halls either semester. So make sure you're checking this total credits count. You are not finished until this number says at least 6. And then once you have a full course load, you want to click over here where it says request alternates to request your alternates. So as Mr. Insrud mentioned earlier, alternates are very important because if one of your first choices is not available or there's a schedule conflict, this is the list we will choose from when we're adjusting your schedules this summer to make sure you have a full course load. If you don't enter your alternates or you don't enter enough alternates, then we have to guess, and you might not like what we choose for you. Okay, so to enter your alternates, click on request alternates. Let's say I want to add core strength as one of my alternates. So I'm going to click on core strength, add course. And then let's say I want to add baking and pastries as another alternate. So I'm going to consult this guide, find the course code 5352. Search. There you go. And add course. And you'll notice as I'm adding these classes, as I'm adding alternates, there's a number to the left of each box. So this will also help you keep track of how many alternates you're adding. I've added 2 so far. You need to add 3 alternates. Okay, so once you have a full course load, which means this number up here is 6, 6.5, or 7, and 3 alternates, all you have to do is click this big red X, and your course selections are automatically saved for you. Now, we know this can be a pretty stressful process, so we want you to ask questions. If you have questions, your CCR teachers are here to support you. Your counselors are also here to support you. So ask your CCR teachers questions, make an appointment to see your counselors, or go find us in the hallway next week, tomorrow and Thursday. All right, happy registration.